Welcome to our summer refreshment series. Our new season will be coming on in early July, but in the meantime, we've put together a series of short videos focused on portions of my new book, Helping Men Finish Well at Any Age. Please allow me to list a few areas of a man's life in which he must be aware of Christ if he's going to finish well. I think of God is continually in our thoughts. That would be the first thing that would be in my mind. We know God is continually in our thoughts. Every day we're aware of Him. Another would be that the man who finishes well is constantly seeking Christ. Christ is evident in his family situations, his job situations, when he's on vacation, when we have a hard decision to make at work. Do we say, I can handle this one, or do we seek God's guidance? Is He in your thoughts to go first rather than you starting to get in something and then say, uh-oh, God, get me out of this? You see, God has a preference in our decisions. Our work decisions, our family, our marriage, our children's discipling decisions. God needs to really be involved in all of our decisions. A man who finishes well seeks God's guidance in those areas of decision making. Did you ever not feel right about a business proposal? It just kind of felt wrong, but everyone else felt pretty good about it. That was just a funny feeling you had. Did you ask God to help you? How do you overcome that funny feeling? Or maybe let's reconsider this deal. Another thing comes to my mind: when a man finishes well with his views of God, is a constant companion. I'm aware of Him in my life. Do you want God to be in all of your decisions? Do you want to feel God is in your constant companionship? The most powerful force in the world is Jesus. Is He your constant companion? Is He your children's constant companion? How did my children and I get by with the loss of their mother and my wife, Wanda? Their companion was Jesus. They didn't need to know why. They just needed to know Jesus was their companion. Another thing that comes to mind if a man is going to finish well is that everything is in light of God being in our life. God is present in everything that's happening in our lives. God knows about it and is allowing it to happen. Even those uneasy things, God's allowing it to happen. A man who finishes well views everything that happens in his life through the realization of God's presence. I also think about the man who finishes well has peace in the midst of storms. David told Goliath that he was going to kill him because he's hurting God's people, because he knew God was with him. David won the battle with Goliath before he went to fight Goliath. David and God fought Goliath. Whatever storm you're in, a man who finishes well declares God's in the storm with him. I also think the man who finishes well has joy in his heart in both good and difficult times. My wife used an acronym, JOY, which stands for Jesus, Others, and You. She taught her 5-year-old students in her Sunday school class that joy shows that God is with you, which is obvious in both the believers and the non-believers that observe the Christian with joy in their life. It's a great witnessing tool. You should never be alone without joy. One of my favorite verses is James 1:2-5. Consider it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance. And let endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. But if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all generously and without reproach, and it will be given to him. You notice verse 2 says, when, not if. Have joy with endurance. If you don't understand, refer to verse 5, which tells you, ask God, who gives the wisdom that you and I are seeking. Until next time, you make a good day. You deserve it. See you, men.